Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. Great to see everyone. This is Whatever It Takes by the Imagine Dragons. Heidi specifically requested this song, so just as everyone's jumping on, this is the song we're going to have playing here. Afternoon, folks. Ryan and Ashley, great to see you guys. Okay, I'm just going around the horn and muting folks as well. Cheryl, great to see you. Simon, long time no see. Bonnie, how are you? Great to see you. Stephen, thanks so much for joining us today, Stephen. Hey, Danusha, how are you? Looks like it's raining in your paradise there. Okay, fantastic. We've got a few more people that are just coming on right now. End sound, says Simon. End sound? What does that mean, Simon? What am I missing there? Oh, no sound? You should be getting some sound up. Can everyone else hear the sound?
Yes.
I can.
Yes? Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
Oh, I can hear you.
We're almost through the song.
I can't hear the song. That's okay. That's for my son. That's for my son.
There we go. Okay, I'm going to start to turn it down just a little bit. And we will turn that off. Okay, so people could hear me, but you couldn't hear the music? No music, huh? That's weird. I wonder why that's happening. I'll have to look into the technical aspects of that and figure that all out. Okay, we'll turn that down.
I could hear it, Ray.
Could you?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so some but not all on that one. That's okay. The music is not the important part, right? It's all about the content that we got going on here. So let me just see. I'm just going to go around and put everyone on mute just to make sure that we don't have any background noise that's coming up. Sarah, great to see you. And Giselle. Hello,
Hi.
Giselle. Thanks very much for tuning in and joining us today.
Thank you. I didn't realize everyone was going to be live videoing. Cool.
Well, that's the fun of what we do here, right? It's interactive and open, and we have some chit chats and we have some good times.
Great. Thanks.
Let me see if there's anyone else that's unmuted at this point in time. No, I think we are good. I think we're good. And I've got the recording on. Hey, this is a great start. This is a great setup. So good afternoon, everyone. It's Ray Vaza of BV&Co. And it is Thursday afternoon. The time right now, 2:34 Eastern Standard, and it is top of mind time. So I say this now, and I'm really getting into Thursdays. I look forward to this time slot every single week. I think it's one of my highlights now. I just really enjoy coming on. I enjoy having fantastic guest speakers that are sharing relevant, real knowledge with us. I enjoy the learning from myself. I enjoy the community that keeps on coming back. I like to see the faces that are going on. I like the inputs that are happening. And yeah, overall, it's a really fun thing. It breaks up my afternoon. And thank you, Steve. I just see in the comments right here, I am feeling healthy and recovered. I'm all over that. Unfortunately, my lower back didn't listen to me, and it's given me some problems. So, you know, you hurdle one thing, you're on to the next. It's like the world of real estate, right? As soon as you solve one challenge, you're on to the next one. So let me just see. Cindy is tuned in. Great to have you on today, Cindy. And I'm just going to go around and check. I believe we're all muted at this point in time. Okay, great. So I also want to let everyone know I've been working on lining up more content. So I guess when I first started, I was kind of running week to week, and then I realized that I needed to do a little bit more of pre-planning. So I've actually been able to line up some great speakers. We've got Heidi today of Firefly Real Estate Investments. She's going to talk to us about her journey over the past 4 years and what has been happening for herself as well as her husband. Just an amazing power couple team that is doing really cool stuff. So we're going to jump into what you've got to tell us, but I'm going to be posting up on my BV&Co page kind of the lineup of guests that are going to be coming on. So I said this, I believe, in the previous one, which is if you'd like to come on, you want to be able to share some of your story, you want to talk about your business and how you're looking to grow, please reach out. I'd love to be able to feature you. I think it's a great platform. And honestly, it's great practice for us all, right? It's great practice on Zoom. It's great practice presenting. You know, we're all colleagues here. We're all investors. So I don't think we should judge too harshly. It's a great environment for, you know, you can kind of get out any of the kinks, work out a few of the wrinkles, and then you're super smooth, you know, for those investors that you want to talk to and meet with out there. So that's my thoughts. So I'll be posting that. Take a look at my page and you'll see the lineup of great content and guests that we have coming on in the next, I think I've booked all the way through June and I might even be in July at this point in time. So I've got 4 or 5 more guests that are all lined up. Today, though, I did invite Heidi and Sean from Firefly Real Estate to be our presenters and our guest speakers for a number of reasons. They've been in investing longer than I have, so I always look to learn from people that are a little bit further ahead, you know, or along in the game than I am. I had a chance to meet them in person back in January. We were at the Keyspire Summit, and we just totally hit it off. They're an amazing husband and wife team. We really got along well. We talked about doing some deals. Nothing really formalized, but we knew that we were in the right headspace, and that's where I like to be with individuals. So with that, let me just see. We've had a couple more people just jump on right here. So if you are coming on, if you could just make sure that you're muted, that would be really fantastic. Joe, how you doing? Great to see you. And yeah, okay, great. So I'm going to switch it over to the speaker view at this point in time. So Heidi, why don't you go ahead, give us a little introduction. Welcome to Top of Mind this afternoon, Heidi. Give us a little introduction, and then I know you've prepared a PowerPoint slide to kind of walk us through a little bit of your experience. When you're ready, you can launch that, and we'll follow along.
All right. Thanks, Ray. So special thanks to Ray and Joe.
She'll be here hopefully this afternoon. She'll join us in about
Sean will be hopefully joining us within the next half hour as well, tied up in a meeting. Anyway, thanks all for joining us, and hopefully everybody gets something out of this experience. You want me to start sharing?
Yeah, I think that's great. That's great. And I know we're going to get something out of the experience. You guys have done awesome stuff. We were just chatting about one of your projects, and that's super cool. Are you able to hit the share button there? Okay, fantastic. Yeah.
Did it work? Everybody sees it? Okay, good.
Yes, yeah, we're up and running.
We actually started before that even, Ray, just so you know. I married my old guy husband. And he bought his first property in 1995 in Ottawa, a townhome, and he rented it out while he was in Halifax because he was in the military. And when he came back to Ottawa, that's when his life changed for the better because he met me. And we actually dabbled in rental even after that. We kept our home when we went to Maryland and we rented it out. We came back home to Ottawa. And then we also did a flip to ourselves and bought our cottage. That was in 2012. And we rented out that cottage space. And then I'll show you when we started our real active investing.
That was all just practice, right? That was just a warm up?
That was just a warm up, yeah. And then we got a little bit bored again, right? So who we are and what we do. So we are real estate investors in Ottawa, and we help people achieve financial security through real estate investing. Particularly by joint ventures and offering private lending abilities. And we love the Ottawa market, nice and stable, just like us. So, and we always try to do everything being a good human. So I don't know if everybody's probably aware of Corey and Tiffany Young, Investors Ignited, sorry. And that's a great saying that we like to share with others. All right, so where we started our journey, this guy. This is where it began. Peacefire 2014. This is when we actually went to, it was known as the Lifetime Wealth Academy. And I heard on the radio that Scott McGilvery was going to be presenting in Ottawa. And I said, oh, Sean, I want to go see Scott. It was more like, oh my God, we have to go see Scott McGilvery. We've done, and we were dabbling in being rental providers or landlords. And we both knew we wanted to take it a step further. And I loved his hair.
I was just gonna say, it wasn't just the guy's hair, right? It was the skills and the knowledge too.
That was a side thing. And I wanted to get a picture with Scott, but I couldn't. He like was in and out, and everybody was going in there, and I'm like, okay, I have to wait. So then we signed up for the workshop. If anybody's a Peacefire member, basically you go in, you see Scott's presentation for 2 hours, and then you sign up if you want to do a weekend workshop. And we signed up then. We made a big leap. I remember thinking, oh God, that's $1,000. What are we do? Like, it's $1,000. I'm like, now I see that small compared to what you can make through education. So it took us actually probably a year and a half. I just know it was 2016 when we went to the actual workshop.
Mm-hmm.
You have to realize, being in Ottawa, they don't come all the time. It's maybe every 6 months they were doing these workshops. And life got in the way. We have 2 kids, and they were even younger at that point. Pets, and of course, just life. So we put it off, and then said, finally, we got to go to this thing. And funny enough, our first joint venture partners, we met at that workshop in Ottawa, and I happened to know them. So
you knew them in advance.
I didn't know they were going to be there, but I knew the woman that I'm, Melanie Buche, is someone I knew through ultrasound. That's my previous life, and ultrasound. So go frontline workers, and education as well, as because I teach ultrasound, and now I'm hoping to just do real estate investing. So this is the big guy. I met him. He started it. So don't be afraid to say anything stupid or ask any stupid questions, because it's going to happen. And just think back on this. This was at that workshop. Sorry, not the workshop. This is when I met Scott, who's my friend. And this is what I asked one of the people at the Lifetime Academy before we paid to join the workshop, because I was all in doubt and what. So everybody's in this room. I actually asked him this. There are people in this room. Well, they're all here learning this from Scott right now. What's saying there's going to be any properties left? And I said it with straight face. I was totally serious. I really thought, well, there's not that many properties available that are any good here, that, there's not going to be any opportunities left for us. So I can't believe I said that. Literally, I cannot believe I said that. The guy tried to keep in his laughter. You could see it. He wanted to start laughing out loud at me. And again, it's just a reminder of how far you can come in a short period of time. So that's from 2014.
So I want to pause on that one there, Heidi, right? Let's just go back a quick second. So 2014, here we are, just kind of starting out, right? And you and I touched upon it, but looking back, right? And are you amazed at the growth that you've had in that period, in that time? Like, you asked this simple question, and it was let's just say a novice-based question, because it really was, right? You were just kind of getting started, right? Was this the progress that you expected to make? Are you ahead of where you expected to be? Give us an idea there.
I'm way ahead, way ahead. I'm over the moon. I'm doing something I love to do. And back then, I would have not thought I could do what I'm doing now. No way. So I feel like you have to take chances. You have to put yourself out there, continue to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. And I've kind of done that for quite a long time, actually. I've worked, so no, Sean's been a great, we met and we just got together really well. Second day I met him, I think I was helping him renovate his townhouse that wasn't managed very well, and I was ripping up carpet and using power tools. And this is when, like, 1 or 2 days after we met, and no way would he let me use power tools without being supervised later on. So anyway, it's just, it's just what he pushes me and I push him and we challenge each other.
So I think, and again, right, we talked about you guys are an amazing power couple, and you're getting into some of that fabric that really helps the two of you out, right? So you're a married husband and wife team, but I think the real message here is that when you're looking at a partnership, it has to be an area that you both complement and you help push each other, right? And I know that you do. You've got a great slide coming up right here, and we're going to talk about comfort, the comfort zone and the different zones to be in. But on that one, we're going to pause and we're going to talk about, comfort and confidence and how do we find a balance. So keep on rolling. I don't want to interrupt your flow, but when we get to that one, we're going to dig into that a little bit more.
You're helping me focus very good.
Sorry, Heidi.
That's all right. You're helping me. I'm missing my my man here.
You're doing so well. You're doing great.
Okay, great. So this is our why. I don't have a very current picture because I'm not the best technical person. They are a little bit older. They're 12 and almost 10 now. Wow. So this is our why, Caitlin and Ryan. And this is Sydney, who's been a mom herself. These are actual puppies that she's had in the past. Not with us, we're not that crazy. Our breeder took her and we got my dog back. Anyway, so yeah, this is our why. We love traveling with our children. We like to do family vacations, and we've done a few. We've been lucky enough to do vacations in Mexico. We own a timeshare there. We have a cottage, which I had said that we actually had financed through a flip to own on our own principal property way back in 2012. We worked hard. Sean property managed it. It was just a piece of land, and he managed the whole property. Development of our cottage from Ottawa. And this is an hour and a half from Ottawa, near Kingston.
I love it.
Anyway, and then this is us we're eating beaver tails. We're so Canadian here. Ottawa, and freezing cold, but we're loving it. We're enjoying our experience. I think, yeah, we were on the canal. So we were skiing on the Rideau Canal. And this is our why. We like spending time with our family, and this has given us a lot more freedom, and that's where it really comes. That's our why, is our freedom and the legacy we want to give our children. We don't come from money. We're not sitting on looking at a big inheritance. Both our parents are elderly. So my mom and dad are both 80 and over, and his mom's 87. My parents are in separate retirement homes. They're divorced, and here in Ottawa, and everybody's luckily healthy. But we want to be able to be there for them as well. We're the true sandwich generation. Yeah, raising children and having parents are challenging at times, but we try to balance it. I've learned that you can't do it all alone, and I'm very grateful for my sister who helps me with my parents. And you can't do it all alone. It all starts with you. So I've been working on myself a lot, because if I'm not there for myself, I can't be there for my children and my husband and my company and my business and my parents. And it all filters out from there.
So you didn't even tell me you were going to sneak in this great little, vein of conversation, right? Which is really looking after yourself. So just give us a couple of things that you do, right? What do you do, Heidi, in order to be able to look after yourself, to make sure that you're at your best to be able to help everyone around you?
I've started to, it's been a little bit of a journey. I love yoga, but I can't go to that right now. But meditation has helped. I try to do that. Journaling, that's probably my biggest thing now. Journaling, I write down everything that's on my mind. I'm a big writer. women tend to be, I've heard that from other people, it's just we tend to want to write down, it's getting everything out of your mind, especially being a busy mom or anybody really. I just sit there writing. It's not the same as a diary. Diary is like what you've done that day. It's basically just throw it all out on paper, and then it leaves time and leaves room for creativity, which is what I need to do my best in everything in life. And real estate, you really need to have that creative mindset. So I found it extremely helpful.
Okay, so then again, before we jump forward, I know we got more great stuff to cover here, but where did you learn this technique? When did you pick it up?
I picked it up, lots of knowledge training. I have to shout out to Rain. So I've learned a lot. I've joined their Elite 52 group. And so I've just continued to build my knowledge of myself and real estate. And through my real estate journey, I've actually learned a lot about myself. And we've learned, I don't know, it's been pretty amazing. And that's been within the last year, I find. And joining the Ignited group really started it as well. That just ignited the fire. And then I joined Rain with Sean joined Rain, and then I joined the Elite 52 with him, which is a smaller group that's still online, and it forces you to look at the bigger picture. It basically makes you look at why are you doing all this stuff, and that it really just has helped me a lot.
Love it. You're giving us a ton of great stuff here, like only on this slide. Like we jumped into our why, but now we're getting, you know, skills and techniques that are working out for you really well, the journaling at nighttime, the benefits that you're having. I love it. This is great. This is a really quality share. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, can I go on?
Yeah, keep on rolling.
I sometimes go off in tangents, as you've noticed.
No, it's great. It's great. You know, no problem. And I do too, right? I mean, usually I say all the time, Joe keeps me on the rails. So she's not here. It's you and I. Who knows where we're to end up today, Heidi?
That's true. Right? That's true, Ray. Oh my God, I forgot. You're the same, and Sean and Joe are the same. Yes, yes. Sean. Oh, I can't hear you, right?
Oh, I'm still here.
Okay. Sean, so because he's military background. One man, one kit. If anybody knows what that, it's like, I first looked at him when he told me that. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? They're supposed to have their own, they look after their own little kit, and they're supposed to do the stuff. Anyway, I'm not military. I met him and I waited for him to get my bag one time on a trip, and I was waiting, and he's like, well, you're just as capable. I said, well, I know that, but I don't want to do it.
Good to set up the expectations early, right? You got
to. And that's one of the things you have to do in real estate. You have to, in renovations, you have to set up your expectations.
Okay.
Don't let anybody think they're going to read your mind. Sorry.
Let's jump into the rest here. Keep us rolling.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, you're helping me. Okay. So why Ottawa? Well, it is the best. Sorry, Toronto. Sorry, Ray.
Okay.
So, just kidding aside, I love Toronto. I used to live there. But why do we really like Ottawa? Because it's boring, even though I'm not. It equals stability, and that equals financial security, because it's always been historically a stable city. That is the reason why out of all of the cities and nationally, we have been mostly, or they feel we will continue to be insulated from the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love this little video, so I've actually done that. This is from Rain, and it was quoted in the Ottawa Business Journal that Ottawa emerges as an outlier in the current pandemic landscape, partly because of the seat of Canada's federal government. It's insulated to some extent from massive pandemic-related joblessness impacting the country. That's from Jennifer Hunt. She's an amazing researcher, and I like the knowledge I've gained because I understand things more. It doesn't mean they know everything. No one has a crystal ball. It just helps you understand things better. And understanding things, knowledge is power. And I think we all agree with that. So it kind of makes sense. We're full of government workers. We have light rail transit that, I mean, it has had a rocky start, but it's still going, there's going to be completions and hopefully they'll get it all together. And IT, I don't know if people can see this IT under here. We have a huge IT sector, especially in the West End where we live, and they've actually created jobs during the pandemic. It hasn't decreased. There's actually been job creation. And we have Spotify here in Ottawa. We have Ford has their driverless training thing. It's not a training, it's research and development. So we're actually quite insulated. We also have 3 major hospitals, or three major hospitals. So we love Ottawa. Even before that, we were listed as one of the top 10 places to invest in Canada. We thought Ottawa's always been very stable throughout history because of predominantly this government workers.
So a couple of comments right here. So Ottawa has always been a strong and stable market. There's no doubt about it. And you're right. It doesn't always have the flash of, let's just compare it to like Montreal, where it's, a great entertainment town and hospitality town. And then, Toronto's a bit of a bigger city kind of thing. But Ottawa is an extremely, extremely great market. And I know that we've got some individuals here. Michael Conrad, Tord, the Ottawa real estate guy, he's online with us. I know Danusha is also, she lives in Ottawa, and I believe that she invests in Ottawa. I'd have to double check on that one. But yeah, Ottawa is a really, really strong market. So going back to your original thing, are there enough deals? So how do you see the marketplace working for you? And let me just back it up. Is it just Ottawa that you focus on, or do you focus on Ottawa and some of the surrounding communities?
Good question. We are also, one of our investment properties is in a bedroom community or close, about a 30-minute drive from Ottawa. I'm not good at west versus, it's west, okay? It's Arm Prior. It's a little town called Arm Prior, and it's going to be having, we assume it's going to be the ripple effect will occur because it's a drivable distance to Canada, which is the high-tech sector. Also, the new headquarters of the military is in Canada as well, which is about a 30-minute drive. So it's all primed and ready, and that's where our beautiful Victorian home is. And we also have one that's outside of Ottawa. We have a Trenton property. Other than that, we are in Ottawa.
Nice. There's a military theme that's going on. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, there's a military theme because we like military, because military equals stability, equals jobs, equals if you're lucky enough to have a military tenant, you have a lot more control over your property because they're giving up a lot of their freedoms, which is a great thing, yay military, but you can call up their boss if they didn't pay your rent. And then there'll be a check. Like, they're not allowed to do anything that's not above board.
I said this last episode. Sorry, someone's at our door here. I said this last episode, which is we were talking about, or maybe it wasn't on this one. It was with Debbie Balfour, and we were talking about the Barrie market a little bit. And I said, it is a fantastic market because you do have a military base that's up there, and exactly your point, right? Which is, you rent it out or you sign a lease, with a tenant, and all of a sudden, maybe they had a little bit of a month and they weren't able to make the bills, right? It's an easy solve, right? You're calling the commanding officer and you're saying, hey, I need to make you aware of this. And very simply, it's corrected and it's done for you. And, if you are in the marketplace and you are looking at some of these areas and you're considering military, there are a ton of benefits by having a military tenant in there.
We also found Trenton, we actually closed on March 2nd, so right before this, and one of the units was vacant. And it's not military, but they're both up and running. It was filled within April, it was filled. And by someone working at the local Walmart and Tim Hortons that were brought in. they actually moved, and the tenant's going to be a paramedic. He just can't do the training right now. So it's just an interesting story and how you can do things even in the most stressful situation possible. Who would have guessed COVID? And yeah, here I'm going on a tangent again. Right.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Joe's here. I might be even better now.
How you doing, hon?
Good. How are you?
Good.
We were saying a little bit, we're having such a fun time right here. We're saying that Heidi and I are so much alike, and you and Sean are so much alike,
Yeah.
right? Where, you know, keeps each one of us on the rails.
Yeah.
So I said to Heidi, I don't know where this is going to end up today. We're going to have to find out.
Oh my God, you can't even pop up. We can't even pop that bottle of wine that I have back there, can we, Ray?
I'm like, is there wine back here?
Where's the wine?
There is. I bet you there is. Okay.
All right, let's keep on rolling.
All right. I'm following your lead. Okay.
Okay,
So
yeah.
what we actually do. Okay. So we're missing on this list our cottage property. So we have 6 in total, and I'm bad at counting. So if I'm missing 6, just let me know. The cottage we could pretend is right here because we do rent it out. We use it ourselves though. So it's not a positive cash flow property because it's not meant for that. But this is what we primarily do. We like to convert single homes and put legal secondary suites within, or legal duplexes, SDUs, if people know that lingo. So we've done the BRRRR, or the buy, renovate, refinance. And our first one after our real journey started, like when we really took a hold of our life and dreams and what's so forth, is this is our first conversion right here. It's in the Stittsville market, which is where we live, and in the west end of Ottawa. And we were lucky enough to actually, was known as a great buy and hold, 10 years, but you're looking at not fast in this area. So we were able, just because this is luck and we don't like to rely on luck, but we were able to refinance this and pull out money this year. So it was less than 2.5 years old. We bought this in 2017, did the reno and managed the reno. Sean and I managed it and got our hands dirty in the basement. It took us 3 months because we had a tenant that we had to get in there that signed up, military, and we had to have it ready July 1st.
I love it. I love it, right? Backs up against the wall.
Yep, and I was in there literally with, I know it, fire cocking on my fingers. Maybe a swear word. Anyway, we hired trades, but trades don't always, you have to manage trades, okay? We've learned. You have to manage trades very well. We now know, we've learned from our experiences, and we now know you actually have to write on the walls what exactly you expect. You don't leave anything to chance, or hire a very good general contractor.
Mm-hmm.
That's my words of advice. Don't. Tradespeople, just they're a different sort, and they never write anything down.
So Heidi, we're getting some great comments that are coming through. Cindy just said a great way to make sure the project gets done, which is giving yourself you've got to do it yourself, right? And giving yourself
Sometimes
that must be done by, this particular time on this particular date, right? And there's no more hours after that. And I see Danusha as well. She's commented that I'm gonna mess it up. It's Ann Pryor.
Arn Pryor. Arn and then Pryor. Arn Pryor. Yeah.
Arn Pryor. I feel like I've got to be from that area to get it right.
It sounds very British.
Yeah, Arn Pryor. Danusha's just commenting that it's really hot, and it definitely is a really, really hot marketplace. So give us an idea right here. So this is what you've been doing and what you've been specializing in terms of picking up these kind of properties, adding that second dwelling unit right there. What would you normally look for in terms of, purchase price, and then what's your average rental budget that you're going in at?
Okay, well, this one we got in 2017. So we bought this at 307.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, just to give you an idea, you can't get anything for that. This is legally, the lot's big enough for an SDU. So you have to really make sure of your zoning, make sure it's allowed. So before you purchase. So we got this for 307 and we put in 70,000. And then it got reappraised. We didn't pull everything out. We're not fancy. This is long-term buy and hold. We mortgaged it it was appraised at 425.
That's great.
That's great.
Now it's just recently been appraised. We got it appraised for 575, I think. Don't quote me on that. I think it's 575 though now. In the
So
high fives.
you had approximately 307. You put another 70,000 into it, so call it 377. Your after repair value 425. So you're just shy of 50K in terms of a lift on that property.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes, and we had some afterwards, and yeah, we've, knock on wood, we've been doing well that way. This one is actually where I'm joining you from. I live in this side. We're a little bit crazy if you didn't know. So this house was actually 2 blocks away from our old house that we were living in when we bought this house, and we were discussing, our business discussions sometimes happen in hot tubs. So, so we were discussing, well, why don't we just move? We love the property. It's in the same school district. Does our kids go in? Why don't we just move? So here we are, and have someone else, our lovely nurse. We have a nurse in our above garage apartment up here. And this was a total gut job. And the budget was a lot bigger because we were moving in.
Yeah.
So we still did fine, and it's still, you can't lose in this great market for one, and we were still able to pull out some money. Again, we put our work boots on. I was trying to find the SpongeBob picture, not SpongeBob, but you know the Bounty commercial or the sponge guys are dressed up?
Yeah.
Yes.
That
The
was me and
picker upper
Sean.
boots.
We had our little outfits on, and we were spray painting for the primer. We bought the priming machine, and then we also had our hazmat N95 masks on for cleaning out, not the asbestos. We got that done professionally, but we had lots of disgusting 1960s carpet. It was a really nice motif going on here, guys.
Lovely.
Everything's new, and so I then, again, I'm going off on a tangent. So this property is, again, this is the upstairs unit of this property here.
Oh, I see. Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So
Very
this
nice.
is the kind of thing we like doing.
So give us an idea for the unit here. What's the typical rents that you would get on this on a monthly basis?
So we get 1,400, not including utilities. We don't like, in most of our ventures, we like doing separate utilities. This space is roughly 600, 650 square feet. We made it into a legal 2-bedroom, small 2-bedroom. So what we're going for generally is the 1 person or couple. And so we did this, and we put hydro. So we just did electric baseboard, but it's well insulated, and we paid the bills on the first part of one of our renos of this one. And our biggest bill was $175, and we live in a cold environment. Just to give you an idea, when there's small spaces, I love the electric heat, separate utilities. I don't want to pay, it just bothers us. We don't like paying other people's bills, especially if they were going to be living next to me. The light on the porch would drive me crazy on, and she leaves it on. But it's
totally the
hydro.
same. Yeah.
It's for hydro. I don't care.
Yeah.
She's got a nice little backyard patio with a really high fence, so we have nice privacy. We have really good insulation, soundproof, all the rest of it. And yeah, 1,400 for this property. Great. And in Ottawa, that's really good. And yeah, so it offsets our mortgage quite a bit.
Those are beautiful numbers, right? Beautiful numbers. You got a 2-bedroom right there. Utilities are separated, so the tenant's looking after that. They're paying hydro. They don't have to worry about paying, for heat. And then they're paying water, right? And
no, we do. We pay water. That's it.
You pay water. They take care of the hydro then.
Heidi, can I ask, so that was an above garage conversion. The first one looks like it must have been a basement conversion.
Correct.
Do you tend to go for one or the other? Do you like to do basements versus, like, which, do you guys have sort of something that formula you kind of stick to?
We like this model. This was actually legally duplexed prior.
Oh, great.
So this was grandfathered. So that's why this was a great opportunity.
Awesome, yeah.
So normally we would go for this bungalow style, just like this one. This is our most recent student, this was for student housing, but we had to quickly pivot, and now it's a medium term to long-term rental. But it's up and down. This one is a little bit different because we pay the gas on this one. It was a joint venture, and it's student rental, so it's a different, I don't know what to say. They're looking for all inclusive.
Yeah, it's a different model.
So that's a different demographic. This one, we wanted all separate, same kind of deal, separate up and down. So this is kind of what we like. We like that 1 to 2 bedroom conversion of a up and down. Now they are getting harder to come by in Ottawa. You have to be really fast, and then you don't want to overpay. So that is starting to be more of a challenge in our market. That's why we're constantly coming up with creative ideas, like going outside the Ottawa market, such as Arm Prior. This happened to be a foreclosure, but it's not, oh wow, foreclosures are great. No, they're not great in Canada because they try to get as much for the person who foreclosed, so you don't get a great deal. It's not like, wow, it's market value. But what's great about this one is it has an addition on the back. So we're looking, okay, we're gonna buy this. We already knew that it was STU available. Like, we looked at this particular it's not a suburb, but bedroom community, found out what their regulations are, and also their regulations stated had to have parking for 3, and it does. Big parking right here. So now, so nothing speculative. This was completely redone. The poor person obviously sunk their whole money into it. I found this on MLS.
So give us some numbers on this one.
We found with our, pardon? I didn't hear you.
Sorry, I was going to say, give us some numbers on this Victorian, because this was a beautiful property that you shot a couple of videos on.
Numbers guys here.
Is he coming into the mix?
This one was great. This one we got for $275 or $271. $275. Again, no renovations except, what did we have to do? We didn't have to do anything, just minor. Painted, and this was our, like, oh my God, it's so easy. We actually had someone paint it for us. Right. Hey, because we're getting busy and we're starting to learn that sometimes our time's worth more. What's worth more investing in other places,
doing other things to help us move forward.
So this one was done, and now so painting, we got it rented. Me and Sean have gotten a lot of these 3 properties all rented by ourselves, and we manage these all ourselves, these 3. So anyway, that's now rented to a couple, 4-bedroom, and he's a military vet, and with a little dog that helps him. We don't usually like dogs, but in this case, it's a single home and it's going to be a back attached. I love dogs myself. I just don't like the barking and the problems it could cause.
I totally agree with you there, right? Joe's a big dog person, but typically for our tenants, we prefer not to. Here in Ontario, and again, we've got listeners that are all across the country. You're not allowed to discriminate in Ontario against a pet owner. But, as you're kind of going through the whole screening process, you can have, mental notes that you're making along the way, right? Yes. So Simon asked a question. So Simon, we chatted this morning, actually. He's in Victoria, just on the island off of Vancouver there. And he's saying, is this in Ottawa? So this is Arn Prior. No, I've got it wrong.
Arn Prior.
Arn Prior.
ARNPRIOR. I think I spoke
Correct.
that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna-
It's a little town
it's
that,
30 minutes outside of Ottawa.
That's
So
what I told her.
from commuting perspective, you do get people commuting into.
yeah, we went through, that's all right.
Yeah, somebody asked the question.
Oh, but no,
Yeah.
it's a little bedroom community.
We had
It's historic and it's not, and anyway, love it. My sister was born there.
Steve McDonald, who's one of our listeners here. He's just asked a question right here. He's saying, "Are all of your tenants military?" And I believe he's a military man as well.
I wish, but no.
Yeah, no, they're not. So if he's military, we've done IR in the past. That's imposed restriction. That's when a military member can travel without their family. Ottawa has a very high amount that they will pay out, and every city that has a military base, they actually do pay out for the imposed restriction to take place. So it's always a good demographic to get. Similarly, any town that has a military base in it, usually you've got a few thousand people on those bases, and the military rates of pay are all public records. So you do a search on the internet, you can see what they get paid, and you know that there are avenues to go through to get your money back. You know, it gives you a little bit more sense of security.
Yeah.
From what
But no, we have a teacher in one right now, in the basement of this one, teacher, and then a nice young couple that they actually work from home, but I think he's landscaping.
Yep.
He works in the office, but he actually does the lawn maintenance. Nice young couple. We gave them a break because they were 18 and they couldn't get anybody to rent to them because of their age.
So in that vein of being
Anyway.
good humans,
Yeah.
you know, we all started as teenagers and then young adults, and you know, that first time you get an apartment or a place to rent, you're hoping that either the rental provider will get to your break, or you know, you've got mom and dad behind you to sign up. So you know,
Yeah.
we take those risks sometimes. They're calculated, but
Good
again,
credit though. We do credit
Yeah.
checks. Always do credit checks because we've had to deal with the N4s in Ontario. We've had to do that. We've never had to go to the board, knock on wood, but now we're very don't just go by names. They did have good credit,
Yeah.
and we did reference checks. So
It's-
like they're just talking. Sorry.
It is hugely important. Now, let's get back to your Victorian rate there. We were chatting a little bit about it, but you said, so we know purchase price. We know you guys didn't have to do a ton of renovations. You did some paint, you did some work.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
We saw your video of the walkthrough. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, that beautiful
Oh, I wanna
banister
do
that
that.
takes you upstairs,
Yeah,
the
I
window
would too.
casings, and like all the molding. It's just a beautiful property. But give us an idea. We know what the purchase price is. Would you mind sharing what you're doing in terms of how does it cash flow? Does it cash flow?
It does cash flow just as a single. So we knew we didn't have to do the reno in the back, and actually originally we were going to rent out the back space to the current tenants as an extra building. Sorry, for commercial space because she
Home
owns her
office.
own nutrition.
Yeah, she's a nutritionist. So
So yeah, but then COVID happened,
yeah,
and they don't want to rent it, the extra space. So that's fine. So we had our exit strategy was convert it into a 1-bedroom, but that's going to take construction money, but it floats itself currently.
and that's part of the decision process
Yeah.
when you buy a property, right? If you buy it and you can get a rent that's going to float it before you do any of the construction, you know, especially in this circumstance where you had a back addition that would act as an office, it was clear that, you know, you need it to float itself. It does, which gives us the freedom as well to decide when we want to do the renovation.
Yep.
You know, on our own timeline, versus when you buy a property that you have to convert. It's like you're working on a much tighter timeline, and the whole time that you're doing a renovation, you're carrying those costs.
Mhm.
Whereas right
Yeah.
now, the only cost we're carrying will be the cost when we do the construction, and that's a whole different ball of wax.
And I just wanted to say that I think it cash flows 200, you were telling me.
Yeah, 200.
200, so it's not a huge cash flow, but I'm starting to realize with the buy and holds, I mean, part of our real estate journey has been really focused on that cash flow with buy and holds. so much when we first started. It's like, oh, it's gotta be like big numbers. And then we're realizing that that's not necessarily what we want to always do with that cash flow. Sometimes we want to reinvest it in our property or save it in a reserve fund, because if you're going to keep it, there's going to be a roof to repair eventually. There's going to be a furnace. You need to plan. You need to be who knew COVID was going to happen? Like,
Yeah.
it's an example of being prepared and being responsible. And that brings me into, I would love to get started, since the market is the way it is in Ottawa right now. It's in the predicted to be in the early to mid boom phase. I would really like to try fix and flip and stuff to get active income and pull it out. And I know with the capital gains, I don't mind paying taxes on something that's going to give me a good return. That being said, always have an exit strategy. I'm gonna make sure that I can do a buy and hold if need be, or I know I can use it for an assignment. I can get it ready for someone else and sell it. Like, you got to think 2 steps or 3 steps ahead.
So I'm just keeping an eye on the time right now. We've been doing great. We're chatting away. We've got about 10 minutes up until about the hour. I know we've got a few more slides, and we want to have a little bit of conversation. So let's jump to the next slide. And how many more do we have, Heidi? Just a couple more, right?
What are we on now?
What, in terms of numbers?
Don't play that video. I hear it. Who's playing the video?
What video?
Is that you?
I don't hear any video.
I hear it in the background. Oh, it's on mine.
Okay.
I'm not really technically challenged. I mean, I'm technically challenged. Okay.
Oh, Heidi, I
So
adore you.
this is my, thanks, Joe. So this was my big segue, and I'm missing my segue. Where's my segue here? Sorry.
She's got
We do.
all her notes handwritten.
This is what I do.
So,
Drives Sean crazy. So how everybody wants to know in the last slide, they all want to know how. I bet you anything. Like how do you do it? How do you get the properties? How do you get this? How do you do this? But the big thing is what holds most of us back, even at one point, everybody at back. So what does everybody think is the thing that holds us back? Throw it in the chat. Yeah, thank you, Sean. I can't see the chat.
We got fear. The first word is fear, is what it is. All capitalized by Simon. Bonnie's saying the exact same thing. Fear.
Wow.
There we go.
They're good. We're good here.
Right.
So this
Trust.
is actually
Trust.
on our door. So I was telling Ray that. This was actually our house I'm living in right now. It had this asbestos certification. We had it done. So abated the whole thing. So that was a fear. And guess what? It was realized. It happened. But what is the real fear? This is something you can mitigate. You can build in your contingency fund. You have control over. What don't you have control over?
Who, me?
Anybody. What don't we have control over?
Other people.
Exactly.
yeah.
That's the real fear. And I don't know about you guys, but we've been told you're crazy. Oh my God, you're doing what? You're doing,
And it's the fear of not following through in what you start, and then people are going to turn around and say, well, see, I told you so.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
the fear of judgment.
it's the fear of judgment from other people, because it's disheartening on the individual that as you're trying to move forward, you know, it's that negativity. But that, I think, is what really most people are afraid of. And they may say they're not, but I think deep down
everybody has this fundamental fear. And if they don't, well, that's great for them.
Everyone is commenting and
Yeah.
saying yes, right? It is a fundamental, and this is part of it, right? So yeah.
Lack of confidence was
Lack of
one.
confidence.
And I think you're totally right. I think it's fear. I think it's also fear of making a big decision and potentially losing money,
Everything.
right? Like
Or
losing everything.
Yeah. And how can we move past this fear? I like my little segue.
is to realize that you're stuck. Right.
to realize that you are stuck in this zone. So this brings us to, what is she talking about? The real estate entrepreneur cycle, success cycle. This is from Rain. This is some of the stuff we've learned from Rain. So these are the 4 zones, and this can occur not just over a year. This can occur in one day. I can move from each zone in one day. So I was just talking about the fear zone. What I'll start to just comment on is first the comfort zone. And this is your like most people out there who aren't in real estate investing, like people that are government workers or they have a stable job or just,
The majority of people. I'm
Everybody.
comfort where they are. I'm safe. I don't have any risk.
I'm loving what I'm doing right now. Why would I do anything? I'm safe. I feel good. It's comfortable.
Mhm.
So now we're going into, we try something, you're thinking of doing something, and we're moving into the fear zone. And this is where a lot of people get stuck. We've been there.
It prevents you from moving forward.
It's
Yeah.
a lot about this. What we think other people will think of us, the judgment. And analysis paralysis, like going over the numbers a million times.
That's my thing, and that's what Ray gets me out of, right? Because I want to be so sure, I'm so risk averse that that's one of my hesitations, and he pushes me out of that, which is amazing.
Low confidence. I don't think I can do it.
Yeah.
There's
and
also
Sean
the.
actually is good at that too. Sean, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Joe was saying a good thing. It's like sometimes I'm the one that doesn't want to jump in. Like I do, and then he kind of pulls me back a bit. But we have the same thing. But then sometimes you just have to go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway.
So
It's so true. I wanted to add on to the analysis paralysis, which is sometimes you get caught up in this. I have to find the best deal. I have to find the perfect deal, right? I have to find it. It's got to be like, all of a sudden it's the rainmaker, right? Where like, you burned like 2,000%, right? You put 50 bucks in, you refinanced it, you got $2 million on the back end, right? Like these deals.
Yeah, I wish.
Right?
Yeah, they want to hear fancy numbers from us. It's not, no.
Yeah. Right. I say to Joe, I'm like, those are the unicorn stories out there.
Yes.
Those are the lost leads that people are using to be able to say, hey, take a look at what I've done. Does it happen every single time? No, it doesn't. Is every deal, as good as the last one? No, it's not. But the important part is making things move forward, right? It's progress, not perfection.
Oh, and Bonnie just here is so true. Bonnie said, what if there's something better that comes along?
Yeah.
Do we want to jump on this one or should we wait?
Yeah,
See if there's a better one. I totally agree, Bonnie.
When I proposed to Joe, that's exactly what she said to me.
And don't be in a rush. Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
So, so how do you get out of that fear zone is through learning.
Yeah, next
right?
one.
Right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
So this is, sorry. No, go ahead. You go. He just comes up here and takes over. He's cute. He's cute. Right? Okay, so a big thing is relationships and education. This is where Keyspire and Rain ignited Elite 52. All these things we've done has really helped propel us. Now, we weren't doing all of that. We started with Keyspire. We did some education, some training. We built relationships. We listened with an open mind. We're willing to try new things. We embrace change. You have to. And you have to show some leadership. So things that are really uncomfortable, we're outside our comfort zone here. But then after you've gotten to this point, you're now in what we call the growth zone. And that is where me and Sean are right now. I mean, of course, you can go through all of these within one day. Again, like if you had talked to me 4 weeks ago and we're closing on properties and had some, this is normal. This is going to happen.
And anytime you look at a property, you can go through any one of these, So, but effectively, as you're growing, you know what you're doing. You're focused. Take action. You're working with like-minded community or individuals, just as we're doing on the Zoom right now. You've got a culture of support. I mean, the last throughout COVID, especially with the Zoom meetings around the clock, and just some of the interactions that you see in Keyspire Inner Circle and some of the other
podcasts,
Facebook. It's all support and positive. And then finally, as you move out of the growth, opportunities will present themselves. And then,
This
You-
is the only time, though. Sorry, Tom.
yeah, go ahead.
You can't see opportunities when you're stuck in here. Okay, you can't. They're still there, but they're all around you. But you can't. You are not ready to see them until you're actually in this growth zone, because then you're going to look around and you're going to see things differently. And then guess what's going to happen after you get that opportunity? Then you do your duplexes like me and Sean. We've done a few. Then you get into your new comfort zone. And then you're wanting to push yourself again. And then you'll go through that fear zone, learning, growth. So it's something that's cyclical. And I have to try to let my husband speak.
I'm good. Heidi is
I get
a
excited.
teacher, so
I am a teacher too. I teach ultrasound, so you can see my teaching. I love teaching. So now I'm on to the next slide, right?
Yeah.
any questions about that?
They can
Other comments?
I can come back to it if you just want me to finish off.
Do you have time?
You have time, right?
We still have time. We're at we're just on an hour right now, so we'll wrap it up here. But I think the thing that I said earlier in it, right, and I think this is a good one. We've got a mix of new investors, established investors, growing investors, and I always like to have this mix. But the question that I want to pose to you guys is, how do you get in the, and you talked about it, Heidi, which is, you met Sean a couple of days later, he's handing you power tools, you're doing the work right there. So how do you go from being in a comfortable place and having confidence and merging those two? Because it doesn't always go hand in hand. And what I've really learned is when you're comfortable, you're not growing, right? But how do you push yourself to be able to grow, have confidence, and still have some sort of, how do you balance that? What do you guys think?
It's a challenge, especially when you have children, as you know. But everybody has something.
You have to take that first step,
Yeah, you
right?
have to do it.
And I think Corey and Tiffany, during the early days of the Ignited program, fake it till you make it. And I'm sure when I gave Heidi the miter saw to use, she was a little intimidated, but she didn't want to, that infatuation phase there.
Oh yeah.
Didn't want to not use the miter saw to cut some flooring.
Sure, I can do it.
I can do it, and off she goes, right? And we've all got examples of where that type of, I'm not going to embarrass myself. I'm just going to suck it up, Buttercup,
Yep.
and move forward. And then you realize, hey,
I did it.
it's not that bad.
Yeah,
So I hope that sort of
helps.
answers your question.
I truly believe that that's part of it, right? Is that as we get more experience, right, we get more comfortable with being less comfortable, right? And it's a weird thing to say, but all of a sudden the fear, yes, Cindy just put a comment up. She says, her and her husband, they've got 2 properties, they still get back to that area, right? And this is natural as human beings, right? Things happen. We're never sure of the future. All these things start to happen, right? And for myself, right, I like to change it to the idea of, risk is an actual thing out there. Fear is mainly, up in our heads, right? It's a bunch of, emotions that are running through. But, is there risk that's going on here, and can we mitigate those risks in order to be able to, raise our chance of success and lower our chances of losing out there? So, and I think I hit the point somewhere along the way where I realized if I was going to stay afraid, then I was never going to be able to do anything. And somewhere along the way, I just started this little saying of my motivation outweighs my fear. Like, I want to accomplish a ton out there, and I'm scared most of the time. But, the nice tipping point is that the motivation is pushing me more than my fear is holding me back. So, and as I continue to push, the fear holds me back even less. So that's my thought on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep,
Similar.
exactly.
I've always never been afraid to try new things. Like I did teaching before. I had to adapt when I first became an ultrasound tech. I had an injury 3 years in after doing school. 3 years in, that's a bit when I just met Sean, but 6 months, he said, well, just apply for that job that came up, that sales / training people on ultrasound equipment. I'm like, are you crazy? I'm 29 or 30 and I've just started. I'm very new. He said, yeah, you can do it. So I did it, and they gave me a laptop and a cell phone, the flip kind, because it was in 2004. And I didn't know even how, there was no GPS, and I'm awful, I get turned around, and I traveled all over the country with with all this stuff, and I winged it most of the time in the beginning, and
But there was, I'm sure there
the
was,
scariest thing I think I've done.
I'm sure
even
there was an
more.
incredible amount of fear
It was.
back then. But as you look at the chart here, you know, you learn a little bit of stuff, you go through some education, some training, and then you get in a positive environment. And you know, if we look back on that time and stage in our lives, clearly it was a positive enough environment for Heidi to take that leap.
Yep.
And it
Support.
opened up new opportunities.
Yeah, and it always does. And you have to be able to take that opportunity. I could have just stayed on WSIB. I could have just recovered. I could have gone back to my job, but I chose to try something different. And I'm so happy I did, because that's where I learned that I loved education. So then I became a teacher as soon as a program opened up, because with kids, you don't want to travel. I didn't want to, young kids. So then I'm like, I'm gonna do that. And I worked my butt off, and I did that. And now it's like, well, this is my real passion.
There we go.
Real estate.
There we go. And you can see it when you start to talk about it, right? You can really see how it lights up in your face, in your emotion, just the tone of your voice, the manner that you speak about it. It's
Can you
fantastic.
tell us, Sean?
Let's jump to the next slide. Let's keep rolling right here.
Okay, this is the most important part.
Oh,
I got a picture with my boyfriend. Sorry, Sean. And I finally tracked him down. I did have another picture. Ray, I went to the Ottawa meetup, you know, when they go around and he does the tour. Me
okay,
and Sean
yes.
went to that one, and I got a picture. I looked awful. And I was, yeah. So I made him, I like tracked him. I'm like, wow, I'm getting a good picture. So I was happy. So, and then, so that's my big end. And we're always looking to help and share in our passion for real estate investing. So feel free to email us or visit us on Facebook. I've got Instagram now, and I got LinkedIn. And so I'm getting there. My kids make fun of me, by the way, and they know. They know more about technology than I do. So, yeah.
That's just natural. That's what the younger generation always knows more tech than the parents do, right? It's just the way that it is out there. I've been dealing with a little bit of a back issue, and my daughter said to me the other day, she goes, "Dad, it's not your fault, you know, you're doing everything right. You're just getting old." And I was like, thanks, honey. That's great to hear. Okay, so we're gonna leave this up for our next second right here. So anyone that wants to be able to get hold of Sean and Heidi, we've got their contact information right here. It's Firefly Real Estate Investments, and it's Firefly Investors. So there it is right there. You can go ahead, reach out, send them an email. If you want to talk to them more about their marketplace, the Ottawa area that we've seen, they've done extremely well in. If you want to pick their brains on joint venturing, you want to talk to them about what kind of opportunities are coming up. So let's just take a quick second right there, which is, you know, if I was looking and I was out there shopping right now and I contacted you, is it something where we have an opportunity, or do we like to talk a little bit and hold hands and get to know each other first?
Well, it's a bit of, I'll say it's a bit of both, right? There's always opportunities there, but it's also important that you have the right joint venture partners. And if we align, then the world is the world's your oyster, as they say, right? We're currently posturing ourselves for the, you know, when things start to open up, you know, just in the front of the dip, or the back end of that dip that they expect, although Ottawa, you know, is in the boom, there's still probably going to be a little bit of a decline, not a lot. The things we're seeing is less offers, but less competitive bidding, actually. And we're just posturing ourselves now so that when the right deals come up, I hope to get a unicorn or two, but, you know, right now, hey, $200, we, like I think Heidi might have mentioned, we do set our cutoff at, you know, minimum $200 a month for cash flow, because you've got to be able to absorb an increase in the interest rates. But yeah, there's deals out there, and we're just posturing ourselves to move at the right opportunity.
Fantastic. So let's do this, Heidi. If you can stop the screen share. We've had a few people, and I want to go back to kind of the.
Yours, a big thank you.
Oh, this is so good of you guys. This is so good of you. Well, thank you for coming on, right, and sharing your expertise and your time with us all. I mean, that's the big value in for me. So yeah, thank you. But we'll hit a stop on the screen. We'll go back to the grid view right here because there's been a couple of great questions, and Linda asked a question. Janusha followed up with right here. So tell us, how did you guys decide on the name Firefly? How did you come up with that?
Well, I think I did actually.
We
love fireflies.
I hope the theme hasn't come through the whole presentation, but I believe we were sitting on our back deck with a glass of wine. A ton of fireflies in our backyard last year. And after our previous name was taken when we decided to incorporate, we sort of, well, what do we do now? And we saw the fireflies, and hey, Firefly, and then our motto or our logo is lighting a path to your financial
financial freedom. I guess we should memorize them.
So yeah, that's how we came up with the name. And my cousin's a graphic artist who put together the design and everything for us. And yeah.
Love it, guys. Everyone, there's some LOLs and love it's and thank yous for sharing. And I think it's a great story. And I think that, for everyone who's tuned in and watched today, you can see when Joe and I get together with Sean and Heidi, it's a lot of laughs. This is an amazing couple. They're a ton of fun. They are a little bit adventurous, I will say that, but you can see the balance between both of them, right? Where one balances the other out, or one pushes the other to be able to continue to grow. And I think for myself and Joe, that's where we resonate as fellow investors and as couples, right? Because you need to work along that particular line. So I do want to be cognizant of everyone's time. We've gone just a little over an hour because, hey, we had a ton of fun. This has been a really fun one for me today. So I want to say thank you to both of you guys, Heidi and Sean, for coming on, for sharing, for really being able to tell us about your story, and to the community. Thank you for joining me on Top of Mind. Coming up, I do have some great guests, so take a look at my page. I'll be posting a little bit more about that. And in the meantime, I want to wish everyone a fantastic Thursday afternoon, as well as going into the weekend. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay active out there. Keep on crushing it with your goals.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Bye, everyone.